The solo gigs, you have to kind of weigh up the audience really, and before you decide what kind of stuff you're going to play. But you try and play a bit of something for everybody is the idea on these gigs really. You know, it's keep everybody entertained, and I haven't done one of these for a while, complete solo gig. Most of them have been open mic nights, so this is the first solo gig for a while. Quite looking forward to it actually. It should be a good night, get a few people down and bash out a few tunes, and it should be a good night. I played here before, the Red Lion. It's a great little gig. Nikki, the landlady, looks after us, and we have a really good little crowd down. So last couple of times we played here have been a fantastic night, so I'm quite looking forward to it.
The first time you've seen China Crisis has been with the boys since November. How was it to get back into the gig, and how hard is it to sort of relearn the kind of way that you know their style of play?
Well, I suppose if I'd only been doing the gig a short time, it'd be a lot harder. But the fact that I've been doing the gig, excuse Faye, the fact that I've been doing the gig for over 10 years now, the whole thing's become a lot easier to do. You know, it's apart from the new songs, obviously, which we have to learn, and you have to sort of create your own parts for and things. But as the set goes, as a rule, it's quite easy because I know all the songs. So, but it was great to be back with the boys after a long break with them. And I did a few gigs last year, as I said in the earlier video, and then I haven't played with them again since last November. So it was good to get back with the boys and have a play, and and see all the guys again, catch up, and it was nice to play with the band again as well. It was great, and the new songs are great. It's really enjoyable to play. This is one of the main men himself, Mr. Ed London, one of the genius songwriters in China Crisis.
Hello. Hello to Colin's fans out there.
The China's fans, really.
Is there an event coming up that you're particularly looking forward to?
Events coming up. Well, I look forward to all the gigs. Sorry, the Toyah gigs are great. They're fantastic. The China's gigs are great players. I love playing with the Ratskins. I love playing with EK1. Love the solo gigs, the open mics. There's so much going on, and because there's so much variety with all the gigs, it makes it interesting, keeps it interesting, rather than playing the same set all the time. And I'm fortunate enough to have the opportunity to play with so many different artists and so many different styles and songs that it keeps it really interesting. Never get bored with it.
Electric or acoustic?
I don't have a preference really, because they're both two very different animals, and it's great to learn. People have a tendency to play an acoustic guitar like an electric guitar, and you can't really do that. It's a completely different instrument. It's you have to spend a bit of time, working out what you're going to do with an acoustic guitar, as far as finger style as well, which I play now and again, and just the way you approach the whole thing really. You play different inversions of chords on the acoustics and make them bigger sound, and where you can sort of chop away with an electric and play short inversions of chords. When you're doing a solo acoustic gig, you have to make it sound as big as you possibly can. So it's great. I love playing both because they're both unique.
We're meant to be.
Travelled the country in the last couple of weeks, clocking up several thousand miles across the UK.
Yeah.
Did that not get to you?
I've got to admit, I did have to go back to bed today because I did a 19-hour trip yesterday. We played with Toyah up in Sale in Cheshire last night at a place called the Waterside Plaza, the Arts Centre. Fantastic little gig, but a real journey. Typical British roadworks everywhere, and so it was a marathon of a journey, to be honest. We set off at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and got back at 5 o'clock this morning, so I had to go back to bed for a couple of hours today before tonight's gig. Toyah's a true professional, you know. She'll weigh up the crowd. She's been doing it such a long time. She's a real professional, and she'll weigh up the crowd and adjust the gig accordingly. Really, you know, if it's a really intimate gig we're doing and it's a quiet, seated crowd, you know, she'll work with that. And if it's a loud, rowdy, stood-up crowd that have all been on the beer, and she'll work with that as well. She'll weigh the gig up as she goes, you know, and just see how it goes. Yeah, just done the first gig, the first set. It was really good. This is Chris. Done the first set. It went really well. Good sound on stage. All happy with what's going on, and just having a quick smoke now before we go back on again and do the second half. So, but I hope it's as good as the first one. It sounded great.
How long have you got left of the gig?
45 minutes to go. So, and that'll be it then. Load the car, have a beer and go home. The gig went really well. It was good. It was. I mean, we were on quite late that night, so by the time we went on, we had a few rowdies in the crowd, which you can, you know, expect anyways, you know, and I think they just get pumped up as well, you know, because they're looking forward to seeing the gig and stuff, and it's a night out for them, isn't it? So they all have a few drinks before the gig, and they can get a bit rowdy, but Toyah deals with them in her own way, you know. She's really good at that. So, but on the whole, it was a really good gig. Yeah, it was good.
And how different is it from playing with China to playing with Toyah?
It's a totally different gig, really, because the China's gig is all electric, as you know. It's you know, we've got a full band on stage, and we tend to do a lot of like festival kind of gigs, and whereas with Toyah, with the two acoustic guitars, it's very well, it's up close and personal, as the gig says, you know. It's a lot quieter, it's a lot more intimate, so it's the other end of the spectrum, really. But both enjoyable, you know. They're both great in their own way, and it's good to, you know, do gigs that are so far apart, you know. It's great. It tests your metal, as it were.
Thank you. I'm going to do a quick signing with Kate over there, so see you in a second.